My name is Yuki Tanaka. I was born in Kyoto, raised in Tokyo, and by the time I turned 29, I had built a career traveling to forgotten places. I was a documentary filmmaker, not famous, not rich, just passionate. I told stories most people wanted to forget. Crumbling asylums, empty schools, abandoned train stations, and once, an entire ghost town buried under volcanic ash. But in March 2016, I took a step too far. I walked into Aokigahara Forest, and something walked out with me. I wasn't looking for ghosts. I wanted atmosphere. I wanted the eerie silence people always spoke about, the suffocating quiet of a place so tangled with history that the land itself felt ashamed. The locals call it Jukai, the Sea of Trees. Nestled at the base of Mount Fuji, it is infamous, feared, and treated with uneasy reverence. They say compasses spin there, the GPS fails, that even time seems to stall under the dense canopy. They say the forest consumes you, not just physically, but spiritually. I always thought that was poetry, but it isn't. The entrance to Aokigahara doesn't look like the gateway to another world. There are signs in multiple languages warning visitors to stay on the trail. Some encourage people to rethink their intentions. Others simply say, "You are not alone. Talk to someone." It was cold that morning. Mist hung in the trees like breath. My gear was minimal. GoPro rig, shoulder camera, directional mic, drone, and a few power packs. I wore thermal gloves, waterproof boots, and a jacket designed for mountain hiking. I also carried trail markers, thin red cloth ribbons to tie to branches as I ventured off the main path. The first 30 minutes were quiet. The forest swallowed the crunch of my footsteps. The trees stood tall and uniform, like they had grown with the purpose of trapping light. The deeper I walked, the more the silence thickened. Then I veered off the trail. I tied a red ribbon around a low branch and marked the spot on my GPS. My subscribers always wanted raw footage, places that felt untouched. I followed a deer trail, careful to step where the moss looked thin. The forest floor was unnaturally soft, as if layers of time had settled there in silence. It appeared just before the 2-hour mark. I had stopped to hydrate and switch lenses when I saw it half buried near the base of a tree. A cassette recorder. Old but not ancient. The kind that needed AA batteries and had a built-in speaker. I brushed off the dirt. It was scratched but intact. No label. I turned it over in my hands and felt an inexplicable chill. I should have left it there. Instead, I slid it into my backpack. The silence thickened immediately. It wasn't my imagination. Even the slight rustling of trees had ceased. I shook it off. Maybe the air pressure was changing. Maybe my ears had popped. I kept filming. By now, I had wandered about 3 kilometers from the path. I had tied multiple ribbons, all visible and bright. I knew where I was. I had my GPS and compass. I was not lost. That's when I heard it. A voice. Faint. Feminine. Whispering something I couldn't make out. I froze. I turned in a slow circle, scanning the forest. Nothing. No people. No animals. I stood perfectly still, holding my breath, hoping to catch it again. It came from behind me. Closer. Please stop. I spun around. No one. Just trees. I called out, asking if someone was there. My voice sounded too loud, like it didn't belong. No response. I thought about turning back, but I didn't. Curiosity got the better of me. I sat down beneath a crooked pine and pulled the recorder from my bag. To my surprise, it powered on. The red indicator light blinked. I pressed play. A man's voice filled the air. It was shaky, breathless, mumbling something unintelligible. Then there were footsteps, crunching, heavy, labored. Then silence, then a scream. A woman, sharp, terrified. Cut off mid-cry, then static. And then the tape ejected itself. I dropped the recorder. My hands were trembling. I stared at the ground, refusing to blink. Something was watching me. I could feel it, not see it, not hear it. But the pressure of a presence loomed. I stood up slowly, packed the recorder, and began walking back. Only there was no red ribbon. I walked in the direction I thought I had come from. No ribbons. I pulled out my GPS. It showed me in the center of the forest. No trail, no direction. The map refused to orient. The arrow spun without settling. I turned on my compass. It rotated slowly, like a lid floating in water. Panic crept into my spine. I paced, retracing my steps, but every path looked the same. Identical trees, identical rocks, identical silence. After 20 minutes of aimless walking, I found the crooked pine again, and at its base, clean and dry, sat the recorder. I hadn't dropped it. I had packed it. I left it there. I stopped filming. I stopped thinking. I moved. The forest moved too. I walked for what felt like hours, only to find the same tree, the same recorder, the same whisper. Please stop. The voice was louder now. I knelt to catch my breath and noticed something strange. The moss was rippling, like something beneath it was breathing. I reached out. The moss was warm. I pulled it back with trembling fingers. Beneath it was a face, pale, still, human, eyes open, watching me. I screamed and stumbled backward. The face didn't move. It didn't blink. It just watched. I ran. Night was coming. My phone was dead. My camera batteries drained. My breath came in ragged bursts. I heard footsteps behind me, then to the left, then to the right. Whispers, laughing, crying, dozens of voices overlapping, all around me. I sprinted until my lungs burned. I clawed at branches, slipped on roots, scraped my legs on stone. And then, through the trees, I saw a light, a clearing, a ranger station. I collapsed at the feet of two men in uniform. They told me I had been gone for 9 hours. They said I was lucky. Most people who get lost in Aokigahara are found days later. Or not at all. I didn't tell them about the face or the recorder. Back in Tokyo, I reviewed my footage. Most of it was corrupted. But the audio? Crystal clear. The screams, the whispers, my voice. And then, layered beneath everything, a soft, unfamiliar voice. It said, "He brought me back." The last recording. 2 days later, my phone rang at 3:12 a.m. No number. I let it go to voicemail. When I played it the next morning, it was nothing but static. And underneath it, my voice. Please stop. I never went back to Aokigahara. But sometimes, at night, I hear a soft click from the shelf where I keep my old equipment, like a tape beginning to play.